Okay, everybody, so we're at the table, and I absolutely love my February blanket with the cables. This is one of my favorite blankets that I've done so far, and I'm going to do a quick swatch just to show you how we're going to go over this pattern. So I'll show you all the repeat rows to keep it nice and simple, so you'll be able to make this as wide or as lengthy as you would like. So let's get right to it, going over what we'll need in order to make it. Okay, so the things we're going to need for this project, I'm just going to use this yarn to show you how to at least change colors once, and you're going to use whatever yarn you want. You can do this pattern in any type of yarn. And your hook, you want to make sure your hook reflects whatever yarn you choose. Okay? Scissors, and we're also going to need a yarn needle to weave in our ends at the end. Now this yarn says it works best with a 4.5. This one works best with a 5, so I'm just going to keep it in the middle. I'm just going to use a 5 just for this demonstration because I want it to be nice and loose, so you can see how we're working these cables. Okay, so let's begin. So for this particular blanket, we do have a multiple. So you have to make this in multiples of 17. So no matter what size you want to make, you're going to keep chaining 17, 17, 17, 17 until you get to your desired length. Once you get to your desired length, you're just going to chain on 10 more. So it's 17 plus 10. Now I will put the numbers up for the blanket and the measurements for the blanket that I made, the pink and navy blue one, so you do have an idea of what that gave me. Just gonna get my yarn on my hook. And now I just want to chain up 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Now that I have my 17, and of course, like I said, if you want to make it wider, I'm just doing a swatch. You keep going. You just keep chaining 17, 17, 17 until you get to the length you want. But once you reach that 17 where you want, then you're going to add on 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So our first row is pretty simple. We're going to yarn over. We're not going to go in that first chain from the hook. We're going to go in the second chain from the hook, and we're going to go in there, and we're going to place a half double. So we yarn over, not going in the first, we're going into the second, come back out, and make our half double. Yarn over, go into the next chain, come up, and make our half double. And then we'll be doing that all the way down this row. So your first row is a row of half doubles. Alright, so we've gone all the way down our row. Now remember, we started with 17 plus 10. We'll have one less, okay? So altogether, we had 27 chains for our sample swatch. We skipped the first chain and we half doubled all the way down. So now I have 26 half doubles. All right, so now we're going to move on to our next row. Now we're going to chain one and turn our work. Now row 2, we are simply going to be putting double crochets all the way down this row. Okay, starting with that first stitch, double crochet, and we'll have the same amount of double crochets as you did half doubles. Okay, so we're going to put double crochets all the way down this second row. And let's not forget our last stitch right there. Go in and make our last stitch. And then we're going to chain one and turn our work. Right. Again, that chain one, turn our work. We're going to do that at the end of every row. And we'll always go into our first stitch. So this is going to begin our repeat rows. Now we have 4 rows in which we're going to repeat from here on out to the end of the blanket. Now, the first row is going to be the row where we establish our cables, okay? So row 3, we're establishing our cables, and this is going to be the first row for our repeat. So I'm going to yarn over and into my first stitch. I'm going to go in and place a half double. Half double. I'm going to make 3 half doubles on my next 3 stitches. So my next stitch is going to be a half double. And the third stitch in this row is going to be a half double. Now I want to look at the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this is the next 6 stitches. Our cables are worked over 6 stitches. So what we want to do is we're going to yarn over twice, because we'll be doing a treble only over our cables. Okay, so I'm going to skip 1, 2, and 3, and that 4th double crochet, we're gonna, again, we've yarned over 2 times. I'm gonna go behind it. Okay, go right behind it, and I'm gonna grab my yarn and come up, and we're gonna go ahead and make our treble. So take off 2, take off 2, and take off 2 again, yarning over 2 more times. We've gone over the 4th one. We're going to go over the 5th double crochet. We're going to go behind that one. We're going to grab our yarn, and we're going to come up and take off 2, take off 2, take off 2 more, making another one. We're going to yarn over 2 more times, and we're going to go to the 6th stitch. Okay, so we're going to go behind that double crochet. We're going to grab our yarn and we're going to come up, and we're going to grab our yarn and take off 2, grab our yarn, take off 2, grab our yarn, take off 2 more. Okay, now we've skipped 3 double crochets and we worked around these 3 double crochets. So now we're going to yarn over 2 more times, and now we have to come back to the ones we skipped over here. So these 3 right here, we're going to come and we're going to start with the first one, and we're going to do this one, then we'll do this one, then we'll do this one in the same way we did these. So let's go to our first one. We're going to go wrap around there. All right, go behind it, grab our yarn. You may find it more comfortable to turn your work slightly. We're going to take off 2, take off 2, take off 2. I'm going to yarn over 2 more times, and we're going to go to our next. Here we go, our next one. So that's the second one that we skipped, and we're going to go behind it and grab our yarn and come back up. Grab our yarn, we're going to take off 2, grab our yarn, take off 2, grab our yarn, take off 2. All right, yarning over 2 more times. We're going to go to the third one that we skipped. Gonna go under there or behind there, grab our yarn and come up, grab our yarn and take off 2, grab our yarn and take off 2, and grab our yarn, take off 2. So we have worked our cable stitches. Remember, when you're doing your cable, you're looking at 6 stitches. You're skipping the first 3 and you're going to 4, 5, and 6, working trebles around it, and then you're going to come back and do 1, 2, and 3. Our next section is going to be half doubles again. So we're going to do half doubles over the next 3 double crochets. Okay, so 1 half double, next stitch, our second half double, and next stitch, another half double. Okay, so we have 3 half doubles, and now we're going to look at the next 2 double crochets, and we're going to do front posts, but we're going to skip the first one. We're going to do the second one first. So yarning over once, we're going to do a double crochet around. All right, yarning over once. Remember, we're going to reach behind, yarning over, we're going to go behind this one. Okay, so we're going to skip 1, we're going to go behind this double crochet, grab our yarn and come up, grab our yarn and make our double crochet. Now we've skipped this first one, so we're going to go back to the one we skipped and go behind it and grab our yarn, come up, and then we're going to make our double crochet. Looking at our next 3 double crochets, we're going to place a half double in each one. So half double into our first one, half double into our second one, half double into our third one. Now we want to move on to our next 6 stitches, which we're going to work a cable over again. yarning over 2 times. Remember, we're going to skip that first, the second, and the third. Into the fourth out of that 6, we're going to work behind it, grab our yarn, come up, and we're going to take off 2, take off 2, and take off 2. Yarning over 2 more times, we're going to go behind this one, grab our yarn, come up, and we're going to take off 2, take off 2, and take off 2 again. Yarning over 2 more times. We're going to go to our next stitch and we're going to go behind it, grab our yarn, come up, and take off 2, take off 2, grab our yarn and take off 2. All right, so we've done our trebles over the last 3 out of that 6. Now we're going to go back to the 3 that we skipped. 1, 2, and 3, and this being the first one, we'll go there first. So we'll yarn over 2 times, and you will reach behind this one, grab our yarn and come up, and take off 2, grab our yarn, take off 2, grab our yarn, take off 2. Now we'll go to the second one we skipped, yarning over 2 times. I'm gonna go right behind that one, grab our yarn and come up. We're gonna take off 2, take off 2, and take off 2 again. Yarning over 2 times. Gonna go right behind the third one we skipped. Grab our yarn, come up, and we're gonna take off 2, and take off 2, and take off 2 again. And now we have 3 last ones left, and these 3 will be half doubles. So next double crochet, it's going to get a half double, and following one a half double, and the last one in that row will be a half double. And of course we'll chain 1 and we'll turn our work, but I'm going to pull this up after chaining 1 so we can look at this for a second. So of course your piece is a lot larger than my sample piece. We begin each row with 3 half doubles on the cable row. So we begin each row with 3 half doubles. We look at our cables over the next 6 stitches and we work our cable. Then we'll go back to 3 half doubles. Then we will only look at our next 2 stitches and we will skip the first one and do a front post double crochet in one, and then come back and do a front post double crochet in the other. The same way we work behind our cables, we're working here, but we're just doing double crochets. Okay, so don't get confused here, it's just double crochets. And then we have 3 half doubles, and then we'll repeat that all over and do another cable, and then it'll be 3 half doubles. And then after your 3 half doubles, you'll go right back to that cross 2 stitches of front post, and then we'll go right back to our 3 double crochets, and we'll keep going back and forth. So we have our cable, and then we'll go to our 3 double crochets, and we'll have our cross in between each cable. Okay, so every time we finish a cable, we'll do 3, and then we'll do a cross, then we'll go back to our cables, and then we'll keep going out. Okay, let's bring in the bigger piece so we can look at that. So again, looking at our bigger piece, we begin with our 3 half doubles, cable, 3 half doubles, then we have our 2, then we have our 3, and then we have our cable, and then we have 3. And I say 3 because we will be alternating between double crochets and half doubles, depending on what row we're on. And then we'll have our cross stitches, our double crochet front post. So you're going to keep going, okay? You're going to end your row in the same way I ended my row. Your row should end again with the cable and then 3 half doubles. Just a smaller scale. Just wanted to show you how it looks. You're just going to keep repeating this right on out. All right. Now that we chain 1 and turned our work, now the next 3 rows are rather simple, because now we're just maintaining this row. This is why it took so long going over that row, because that's the important row. Everything else is just maintaining the pattern that we just set up in that row. So for the next 3 rows, we will be doing double crochets only. Okay, some of them will be working around the post, anywhere where we worked around posts, front posts on this side. When we're on the back side, we'll be doing back posts. When we're working on the front side, we'll be doing front posts. So let's go over the next 3 rows. So this is row 4. We're going to start with a double crochet. So over the next 3 stitches, we're just placing double crochets. Now when we get to our cables, as we see our cables cross in front of each other, all right, so the ones that fall here on this side, we want to make sure we work these ones first, and the ones over here, we want to make sure we work those last, okay, because these ones start out first. So we're going to yarn over, and I'm going to look at that very first one, and I'm going to take and put my hook behind it in order to go in front of it, just like that. So I come out this side, and then I want to work behind, if you can see, that first cable stitch. So I'm going to grab my yarn and come up, and then I'm going to make a double crochet. I'm going to yarn over again, and now I'm going to slightly, so I can see, we're going to go to the next one, and we're going to go behind it, okay? Grab my yarn, come up, and then we're going to work that double crochet. Again, yarn over. I'm going to go behind this one, grab that yarn and come up. I'm going to work that double crochet. I'm going to make sure we spread these out because we don't want to go out of order. And I want to go to that 4th one right there. So I'm going to go behind it. Kind of turn your work so you can see. Grab your yarn, come up, and make a double crochet. Going to the next one, yarn over, okay, working behind it, grab our yarn and come up, yarn over, and this is the 6th one, so I'm gonna grab my yarn and come back up and make my double crochet. So now all of them are in order. We flip it back over, we see that they remain pushed out, okay? We want to make sure they remain pushed out. All right, so now we're going to move on, and our next 3 are just going to be double crochets. All right, so we'll make sure we go to our first stitch, which is right here, and make our double crochet. Next one, double crochet, and our next stitch, double crochet. And now we get to our 2 front posts. Now remember, looking at it on this side, first we skipped over, we did one first, and then we went back and did the other one. So we skipped, did one front post, and then went back. So when we're on this side looking at it, the one that comes up first, which is this one, that's the one that we want to go around first. We don't want to skip when we're this way. So we're going to go behind it, come up, and make our double crochet. And now we'll go to the next one, go behind it, and make our double crochet. And our next 3 stitches will just be double crochets. Two, and the next stitch, double crochet. And then we come back to our cable, and again we're going to do the ones that come first. So that's these 3, and we want to make sure we do all these 3 before we do these 3. So we'll start with the first one. We'll yarn over once, and just go ahead and lean that forward and go behind it. Grab your yarn and come up and make that double crochet, yarn over. This is my next one. Come up and go ahead and make that double crochet, yarn over. Now this is the 3rd one. So I'm going to go around it, and I'm going to make my double crochet. Alright, now I'm going to come to these 3. So I'm going to go behind this one, and make my double crochet, yarn over the next one, grab my yarn and come up, and I'm going to make my double crochet, yarn over. I'm going to go right behind this one and make my double crochet, and then I just have my 3 double crochet left to do at the end. And of course, again, yours is much bigger, so you'll do your 3 double crochets, and you should be walking into, we just did a cable, so after your 3 double crochets, it'll be the 2 front posts that you'll have to do, and then 3 more double crochets, and then you'll come back into a cable. Okay, so chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Now this is the 5th row. All right, so in our first stitch, we're going to place a double crochet, yarn over, and we have another double crochet. So we'll be doing our 3 double crochets, and here's the 3rd one. And now around our cable section, which is the next 6 stitches, we'll just be going behind each one. Grab our yarn and come up and make a double crochet. Go behind the next one and come up and make a double crochet, and go behind the next one, grab our yarn, come up and make a double crochet, and again the next one, come up and make a double crochet, and the next one, go behind it, come up, make a double crochet, and the next one, go behind it, come up, make a double crochet, and now we have our 3 double crochets. We'll go into the first one, 1, next one, 2, and the next one, 3, over our next 2 stitches. Remember, we skip this one and we do a double crochet front post around the next one, and then we come back to this one and we do our front post double crochet around that one. So if you notice, these two, we cross them. Okay, we skip one and we go to the next one. We cross them when we're in the front, but when we work them in the back, we work them in the order in which they come up, which means we're not crossing them, right? And our 3 double crochets, so that's our first one, and our next one, and our 3rd double crochet. And now we're back to our cables. So we're going to go behind that first one, grab our yarn, come up, and make a double crochet. And the next one, grab our yarn, come up, and make a double crochet. Next one, grab our yarn, come up, and make a double crochet. Grab our yarn, come up, and make a double crochet. Again, go right behind it, come up, make a double crochet, and the last one behind it, and make a double crochet. And for me, I'm at my last 3 double crochets, and that is going to be how you work each stitch on this row. Chain 1, and we'll pause a minute before we turn our work. This is going to be how you work every stitch on this row. You're just, all your cables are getting that front post, your 2 little tiny front posts, you're skipping one and then going back and working the one you skipped, and your front posts around your cable. So you're just going straight down that line in the order in which they come up, and in between everything, just our double crochets. So again, I like this row. This row 5 is really, really simple. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, we already did, and we're going to turn our work, and this is our last repeat row. This is row 6. Now row 6, we're just going to be doing our double crochets, but you can see it's very clear, especially if you're holding your piece, where your 6 cables are. We're going to be doing the same thing, but we're just going to be doing back posts, and the same thing with the 2 that we've missing here. We're just going to keep them in order. We will not crisscross here, and our cables will just be working back posts because we want to keep them pushed out. Okay, so let's go into our first stitch and just place our double crochet. And our next stitch, double crochet, and our 3rd stitch right here, we put our double crochet. Now we're going to yarn over, and we're going to, now I can just go like this and work it, but if it makes it easier for you to lean this forward like we did on row 4, like we did on row, like we did on row 4, if it makes it easier for you to lean it forward so you can really see what you're doing, just going behind it, grab your yarn and pull up, and then we're going to make that double crochet. All right, if you don't need to lean it forward, then just go here, you go behind it, and you're poking this in, and then you're gonna go right on the other side of that stitch, whatever stitch you're trying to go around, the next one, grab your yarn and come back up, and that's going to keep it pushed out and make our double crochet. So regardless if you could just go around that stitch, you know, pushing it out, so going behind the stitch, or if you need to pull it forward so you can see like this to go behind that stitch, whichever way, but it's all the same thing. We just want to make sure we go over all 6 of those stitches, keeping our cable pattern alive. All right, and remember our 3 double crochets. You always want to maintain our 3 stitches in between everything else we're doing. Now we come to our 2. We crisscrossed on the other side when we're working it from the back. We're just going to go in. I want to do the first one that comes up first, and I want to make a back post, keep that pushed out, put my double crochets, and then I want to go around the next one. Okay, grab my yarn and come on back up and make my double crochet. We're doing the exact same thing as we did here. We're just making sure we go around that first one first, and then the second one, no crisscross here. And here we have our double crochets. So put our 3 double crochets, and we're back to our cable. And again, our cable, we just want to push these back with our double crochets, go in, go in, and work our posts, work our double crochet, pull up, and work our double crochet. And this is the last one. Go back and work that double crochet. Oh, that wasn't the last one. This is the last one. Okay, and work that double crochet. And now to end off, I have my 3 double crochet on the end. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and then we chain 1 and we'll turn our work. That is the last repeat. Okay, now I want to change colors here because I want to show you all how I'm changing colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this last double crochet. All right, so when you get to your last stitch for whatever color you are doing, I'm changing on a double crochet row. We know one of our repeat rows, we have half doubles at this end. So I'm going to show you how you would change for both endings. So if this was a half double, I would yarn over, go into my last stitch, grab my yarn, come up. Now all I have to do is grab my yarn and pull that through, and that would complete my half double. But I don't want to complete with this color. I want to bring in my new color. So I'm just going to hold this here with my thumb, all right, and wrap the new color around the hook and go ahead and pull that through. Chain 1, and then I can turn my work and move on with my new color. Now that's if we were ending in a half double, because this row that we're changing colors on is a double crochet row. I'm going to show you how to do it with a double crochet. So I'm yarned over. I'm going to go into my last stitch, grab my yarn, and come up. I'm going to yarn over and take off 2. In order to finish this double crochet, I would just have to yarn over and take off 2. So at this point is where I don't want to do that, and I want to bring in my new color. I'm going to place my new color here, holding it down with my thumb, and I'm just going to add the new color to the hook and bring that through to complete my last double crochet. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. Now that I've turned my work, I can go ahead and cut off the color I'm not using anymore and can continue on. Let me just pull this down and continue on with my new color. So I've showed you all the rows of repeat. Row 3, 4, 5, and 6. So our 4-row repeat. Okay, so row 3 is the row that's going to come in next. Okay, so row 3 is where we establish our cables. So on row 3, I'm going to go over that one more time, bringing that in, especially with our new color. We're going to do half doubles. So on our cable row, we do half doubles for our first 3 stitches. And then we come to our cables. So with our 6 stitches for our cables, remember we skipped 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to look at the last 3, which is 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to yarn over 2 times and into the 4th one, behind the 4th one. I'm going to go grab my yarn and come up. And we're going to take off 2, take off 2 again, and take off 2. Yarning over 2 more times. We're going to go behind that one, grab our yarn, and we're going to take off 2, take off 2, and take off 2 again. Yarning over 2 times. We're going to go behind the 6th one, and we're going to come up and take off 2, and take off 2, and take off 2 again. Yarning over 2 more times. We're going to come back to the first one we skipped, and we're going to go behind that one, and we're going to make our treble stitch. Yarning over 2 times, going to go to the second one we skipped, and we're going to go ahead and make our treble. Yarning over 2 times, we're going to go to the third one we skipped, and we're going to make our treble. And now our next 3 stitches are going to get half doubles. And our 2 stitches, we're going to crisscross. So we're going to skip the first one, and we're going to go behind the second one and do a front post. Make our double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go to the one that we did skip. We're going to go behind that one. Grab our yarn and come up and make a double crochet. Next 3 stitches, we're going to make our half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Again, we're at a cable, so over the next 3 stitches, we're going to skip 1, 2, and 3, and around 4, we're going to yarn over 2 times and place our treble behind a double crochet. Yarning over 2 more times, gonna go behind that double crochet and place a treble, and yarning over 2 more times. We're gonna go to the 6th one, and we're going to place our treble. Yarning over 2 more times. We're gonna come back to the first three we skipped. We're gonna go into the first one, go behind it, grab our yarn, come up, and place our treble. Yarning over 2 times. We want to go to the 2nd one we skipped. Go behind it, grab our yarn and come up, and we'll take off 2, take off 2, and take off 2 to work our treble. Yarning over 2 more times. We're going to go over that final one that we skipped, the 3rd one, go behind it, grab our yarn and come up and take off 2, take off 2, and take off 2. Now we're at our last 3, which are half doubles. All right, so we have 3 half doubles to end off. Of course, you have more than that, but I hope you can see how it is coming together. So I wanted to bring that row in, wanted to show you how to change your colors and also how to go back to start your pattern again. So we did the 3rd row, we repeated the 3rd row. Now we're going to repeat the 4th row, chain 1, turn round, and then we're going to do what we did on the 4th row again. Then we'll do the 5th row again, then the 6th row again, and then we'll come back and repeat this row again. All right, and we'll just keep that same process over and over and over again until you get to the length that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and complete one round of repeats. So I'm going to go ahead until I get to row number 6 again, this being 3. So I'm going to do 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to go ahead and build a simple border around here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into that. Okay, so I've done my repeat rows again, and if I was to keep going, then my next row would be my row with my half doubles, and I would be beginning again my cables. This is the end for me. So what I want to do is the same way when we began, we did a row of half doubles. Whenever we choose to end, wherever we are, you may choose to end on a cable row. It does not matter which row you choose to say, okay, I've gone as far as I want to go. But you're just going to yarn over, and once you decide you're done, we're just going to put half doubles in every stitch going all the way down. All right, no front posts, no back posts, no trebles, just all half doubles once we've decided that we're done. Okay, because the border that I chose to do for this is very light and simple. I believe the cables, once completed, a full blanket, it was enough. I almost didn't put a border on mine at all, but then I was like, no, let me do something, just something. So I'm going to show you the something that I did, and I rather think that something that I did was a little extra, but we'll go over that. Okay, so once I'm done, I'm going to cut my yarn. gonna chain one and pull through and pull tight. Okay, we're done. Now, if you're like me and you're like, oh, I think it's fine with nothing on it, all right, then fine. But then if you're also like me and feel like you should be doing something on the border, then this is what I did. I first started single crocheting. Now the bottom and the top, these stitches are already established. We have our foundation chain here, and we have our top, so we have stitches that are already there, but our sides we did not. And I wanted to keep it nice and clean, so what I did on my end is I started here, right, and I went around my whole piece with just single crochets first. So I'm going to show you how I did that. And anywhere where you have joined your colors, you could simply just take and tie this into a knot. I'll tie that into a little knot. Now, I don't feel like weaving in on this little thing, but if I was doing my border, I might be weaving in. All right, so we're gonna start here. Nope, let's start with our gray because our gray is at the bottom. Now again, I want to go around and I'm gonna start right in that corner. All right, that last stitch is the corner. Last stitch, or first stitch, you say. It's going to be the corner. And we're going to add our yarn on, and I'm just going to go and grab my yarn, come up, but I'm going to go right back into that same spot and actually make a single crochet. All right, just one little single crochet right there. Now I'm going to go up the side. The only thing I have to do is make sure I'm going through 2 loops, and I'm going to dot my way up the side because of course I have no stitches here. I'm on the sides of stitches. I'm not on established stitches, so I have to make my own. And only thing I say is make sure we're going through 2 pieces of yarn. We don't want, you see how there's 1, 2 in there, okay? I don't want to just be going through 1, and I only want to travel into like colors. So once I'm coming up, and as you see, I'm going to do just say 1 more in this gray, and I'm going to stop here same way I would if I was changing my colors. How I showed you how to change your colors on. Before you get to that last piece, we're going to add on our color. I'm going to pull down my gray. And then I'm going to continue on with my new color. I'm sorry, I'm pulling down the color that I started with in the back. And now I'm going to go around in this color, in the peach with the peach. Again, the only thing I have to do is make sure I'm going through 2 loops. We don't want to be just in 1, just 2 stitches, and dot our way, making our single crochets all the way up to the top here. Okay. And once I get to the first actual stitch here, you're gonna see how we're gonna go around. All right, and poop, that's the first stitch going around here. So I've gone into that stitch once for the side. Now I'm gonna go in this stitch one more time. Again, this is the first stitch here. All right, and that's for my corner. And then I'm going to go in one more time. And now it has me completely turned around so I could just go down. So that first stitch, you're going to go in 3 times. Think of it as 1 time for the side, 1 time for your corner, and 1 time for the direction in which you need to go now. It'll be the same thing here. We'll go into this stitch 3 times, this stitch 3 times, and once we come back here, this stitch 3 times. So I'm just going to, these stitches are already established. I'm just going to put a single crochet into each stitch. Okay, remember that's the last stitch. I want to go into that stitch 3 times. So that's 1 for the top, 1 for the side, 1 for the corner, and 1 for the side. And now I'll go down this side until I get to my gray, and then I'll switch over to gray. Corner. So I go into that for the side, for the corner, and for the direction that I'm ready to go into. We've gone in there 3 times. Now this is the bottom, which is the foundation. Go on down this foundation chain, and again, even with the foundation chain, we want to make sure we have 2. You know, we're going through 2 of the loops. I hope you can see that. Going through both of the loops at the bottom. So yeah, this is a very simple border. Now we can stop just at the single crochets or keep going around and put more single crochets and just give it a bold border. And because we outlined in the color in which we were working, you know, it gives it a nice, I just like it. I just really like it. So we can stop there if we want to. We can do a little bit more. I think on this one I did front and back posts, but only at the top. So I would do a front post and then a back post alternating. So look, we're coming to that last stitch right here in this one. And remember, we already did the side for that one. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do one for the bottom and then one for the corner. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and slip stitch that first one. All right, go through there. Over there. And we're going to chain one because I guess I'll show you just going around and double crochet. But now when I go around, I can continue to keep switching the colors here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep everything. I'll just go around it in the gray now. All right. So chain one, I'm going to yarn over. Now where I am chained in, remember this corner, we went into it 3 times where we began, where I slip stitched 1, 2, 3 right here. All right, and right here. Now that middle one is going to be what we call the corner. So because the middle one is behind me, because it's this one right here, and even if you can't see it real well, trust me, it's this one right here. So I'm going to just go forward and start double crocheting into the next stitch, and I'll finish my corner when I come back around. That'll be the last thing I do here. It'll be my corner. So listen, I'm just going to go around and place double crochets. All right. When I get to the corners, I will demonstrate the corner. But other than that, we're just going to go around and do double crochets. Okay, so we are at where our corner is, and we have the 3, I can't even, if you can't see it great, coming out of here. It's 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to go on the first one, and I'm going to go ahead and place my double crochet. Now into that middle one, all right, when I kept calling the corner, what we're going to do is we're going to go in there, place 1 double crochet, chain 1, and go right back into that same stitch and place a double crochet. Now if we choose to go around this piece again where we've just put this chain 1, we'll go into that chain 1 to work a corner. Okay, and it leads us around, and we'll go back to our double crochets all the way around till we get to the next corner. Alright, so I'm beginning the first piece on my little corner. Is 1, 2, and 3. So this is the first one. And that set of 3 coming out of that 1 stitch. This next one is my corner. So I'm going to go in my corner and place double crochet, chain 1, and into that same middle stitch, another double crochet. And then the next one leads me going this way. I think we get that on the corners, okay? All right, so when we get to our corner, that middle one, we're going to go in there and do what we've just done 2 times. So I'm actually going to go all the way around this one now, and we'll meet at the last corner, because that's the one we have to go over because we're ending with it. Okay, so I'm coming around to what would be the last stitch. All right, so that one right there in the middle, right before we slip stitched, you can see if you can see it good, but we're gonna go right in there. We're gonna make a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet right in that same stitch. Okay, and then we're just going to slip stitch into the first double crochet that we did. All right, and if you want to continue on, you're going to chain 1 so we can keep going. But that is my basic border. Why did I like a basic border on here? And might I add that you can see once we go over this in its right color, and then we go over, it gives it a nicer look on the edges. Okay, but why did I like the simple border? Because I felt like the piece larger than this had so much going on that it spoke, just to have a bold something, be it just single crochets or the double crochets. Now I'm gonna give you a little sample of if you want to do something different. All right, you can yarn over in the same way we did front post. If you want to, you will begin with the front post. Okay, and then go behind and in front and push that back. Okay, same way we worked in the piece. All right, remember front, we're going to go behind it from the front. See? And make our post, double crochet. Now we're going to go behind this and come in the front of it. See? And we're going to push that one back. All right, the same way we did when we were on the wrong side. We had to push it back to keep it forward. That's all we're going to do. If you want to do something special, then you can keep going around and alternating front and back, front and back. And you'll just alternate. Look at that. Until you get to your corner. And when we get to a corner, we'll just go in and place a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then go right back to the alternating. So it gives it a little something extra if you want to do something more. I'm going to do that right up to our corner. Let's see our corner. So, I mean, you can go ahead and grab that and do it right up until you get to your corner, right? So now we're at a chain 1 space, and go right in there and put your double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And then right on the other side of that, you want to go ahead and start your front and back post again. Okay, you see that? So we maintain our corner, and again, if we want to do another row of it, we have our corner still maintained. So we would just do the same thing, go inside this corner and do double crochet, chain one, double crochet. So, and when we come all the way back around here, the same way we end it, because here's our corner right here, and here's our chain one space, we would just go right into our chain one space and put another corner. But then that double crochet on the other side, we would, if this is a front post, then we would make it a back post. Okay, that's it. And we can take that all the way around if we want to do that. So I've given you a couple options in the border. Most importantly is I hope you got the cables. It's just these 6. Remember, you're keeping 3 in between everything. 3, either a half double on the cable row or a double crochet, and 3 and 3 and 3, and in between them we have the cables, our 2 crisscross or cables. Okay, so we're not doing anything else this whole entire piece. Once you do that first row, that first round, you'll see it flows really, really well, and you'll know what to do. So I hope you made it through. You know, show me your blankets once you finished them. I hope you enjoyed February's blanket. I enjoyed February's blanket so much. I'm going to probably make another one because I really like it, and I kind of like these colors, so I might do it in these colors. And this has been our joyous cable blanket. And do not forget to weave in all those ends. Make sure you stay in light colors, okay? So I have gray here and peach. I'm going to weave my gray into my gray and my peach into my peach, okay? So don't forget to do that as well. Until next time, you all, for Age's Cozy Crochet Corner, I'll see you in the comment section. Much love.